There we go. Call the spaceships to Davenport. Prepare for a divanarchy and interface with the couch in space. It's space couch time. I'm excited. Space is excited. All of space is excited for this episode for many reasons. One of them is because we get the best advertisers in town. That's right. People tune in from all over the cosmos just to hear our ads. And we got a good one once again from the best sponsor on your planet or any other. It's Tiger Squawk Records. Let's see what we got today. All from Tiger Squawk, we have How Do We Know She's Alive? The really good new Israeli album, Amalgamated Cadaver. I think it's our best with three. Industrial's Mighty Wings cover, which is hilarious. Comrade Computer, new signing. Kami Body music EP. Stigmata with Screwdriver is an insane new offering, as always. Beta virus, like that, but not like that. I think that might be my favorite beta virus. EL or 3113 from Pilbrigade. I should really ask how that's pronounced. All the new singles from Circles from out of England. Gossiples as remixed by Science Fiction, who's just been on fire lately. Epitaph, C-Tech as covered by Batavia. Duckbag TM with the new single. Mysticon, the super sampler from Tiger Squawk Records. It's 26 free tracks. Tiger Squawk Records. It's a very nice record label. Speaking of things that are very nice in the world, looks like DJ D42 is first in the chat room on Twitch from MTV TV. Free plug. Check them out on Twitch. But now we got to get serious because I don't know why. I couldn't make that work. I'm just pumped to see our next guest. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back to the show, Daniel Belasco! What's up, buddy?
Diamonds, I'm in a different galaxy altogether here. This isn't our solar system at all. This is some weird planet Wumpus. Speaking of which, I'm actually playing Hunt the Wumpus right now, and I've lost 6 games in the last. I'm fucking terrible at this.
Well, yeah. Our pre-show banter led us to Hunt the Wumpus, which is one of my favorite things about Space Couch. I never know what's going to come of it. And today I've already got to talk to one of my favorite musicians about video games from before I was born.
Before both of us were born. Yeah, Hunt the Wumpus is old, man. Dang.
Yeah, well, we are all about going retro here with our guest, Daniel Belasco. No stranger to synth waves, the main brain behind Glass Apple Bonzai, Necromancer's Union, Razorback Hollow Defense Mechanism back in the day. So happy to have you back, man.
What's up, dude?
It's you were the first guest I went to, of course, because you're easy to talk to, and you know what you're doing. And
I think I was streaming regularly at the time, playing pinball or something. And
I was very impressed with your Twitch ability, and not your Twitch ability. That makes you sound like you've got low dexterity or something.
Well, I do, yeah.
Well,
can't sit still.
We can boost your stats. Speaking of dex, with let's just jump right into what you got going on with your latest GoFundMe, if you like.
Okay. Let me just bring it up here. I'll stop playing Hunt the Wumpus.
I mean, it's a noble endeavor.
Yeah, it's not going anywhere. It's been around since 1974.
Love it.
So I'm doing a GoFundMe right now because I don't want to get totally into it because it is kind of tedious to explain the whole thing. But basically, I am awaiting government assistance to live here in Canada, specifically in Ontario. And the waiting list is incredibly long because of, the last, the 2-year decade that we've just lived through.
Right.
And all sorts of stuff. So it's like I'm in a weird financial limbo. Mm-hmm. And I I'd let things go too long in terms of like bills and so on and so forth, and it's encroaching upon my very existence. So basically, the whole thing is like, can you save Daniel from total financial ruin?
That's pretty
So
intense, man.
that's what it is. It is intense. I mean, I do like to be dramatic because it's fun, but it's also
Right.
true. So there's that.
Right. I mean,
Um,
are you doing okay for work, or what's up? What's up there?
well, no. See, that's the thing is that not to put too much of a damper on things,
It's all
but
right. I mean,
yeah,
we're just yakking, man.
my oldest brother died last year in
Right.
September, and that did it. It made it very difficult for me, still to this day, to do much of anything.
Right.
So, like, I've had to put off various musical releases, and I've had to do this and this and that, and I have to basically, not to put too fine a point on it, but I'm unemployable for the time being
Okay.
in any traditional sense of the word.
Right. Right.
So I'm relying upon my music and my Twitch streaming and any production work that I can get
Okay. Great.
in the interim. But I mean, not a lot of that's coming in. I mean, obviously, making revenue off of Twitch is tedious at best. I mean, I do have a really awesome community of people that are super supportive, and it's really rad. But everybody's on Twitch right now. The numbers, like to get a concentrated audience, is tough because there's
it's a
so
lot.
many people. And and I'm in there doing my thing, but it's just not making the ends meet until this government not funding, but this government support comes in, which could be not until the end of this year.
Wow. Sounds.
So, yeah, so I'm basically in this financial limbo where like and here's the crazy thing, I've applied for the government thing. If I reapply for it, it starts the process over from the beginning.
Get out.
So it's like I just have to wait. That's it. And so I'm scrambling to
Right.
to
That
get
is.
some kind of like just have some sort of overhead financially so that I don't fucking I don't what's the word I'm looking for? I don't go bankrupt, basically.
Sure.
Like personally bankrupt, where like you have nothing.
No,
So yeah,
absolutely. I mean, we were just joking that like if I can sort of wrap anything around the theme of space, but I
yeah,
mean, it really does get fucking gnarly when that it's just empty space. There's no safety
yeah.
net there. So Space Couch Coutiers, yo, the original guest, my man, Glass Apple Bonzai needs a little assistance right now. Glass Apple Bonzai. I think literally everyone that is hearing my voice right now has some Glass Apple Bonzai in somewhere around because there's a lot of music attributed to that project even specifically,
Yeah, it's
despite
ridiculous, isn't it? Like, I'm
for
taking a look.
I was going to say, well, what started ostensibly as a side project of Defense Mechanism
Yeah, which is even funnier.
is now yielded. You're amazing material,
Right.
and there's a ton of it. And that's just that project. We'll get going. So, where should people go for this new GoFundMe?
Um, there is.
I mean, we can put the link in the thing, but like if they
Yeah.
just punch up Daniel Belasco on GoFundMe, you'll come up. Yeah.
I should.
Okay.
Yeah, there should be something. It's literally it's called Save Daniel from Total Financial Ruin.
Okay.
So I don't mince words.
Oh,
And
Weston Kenner here. What's up, guys?
there is an event coming up hosted by EBM Worldwide,
Hey, all right.
which is a fundraiser for me, which is it's weird for me to read, that it's a fundraiser for me, but it's been put together by DJ Hate Muir. I don't know if you know Hate Muir, DJ Elefine,
Oh, hey, all right.
a whole bunch of like friends like Star Noir, Ryan of Toronto.
Oh,
Um,
big friend of the show.
yeah,
My
Ryan's
co-host on Otterbat Super Chat, and
and just a whole bunch of people, and they're all banding together to do this raid train that starts on Friday, the 25th, and then continues on Saturday, the 26th. And I'm
2-day
actually
fundraiser for you, man.
yeah, I'm actually going in there myself and doing an hour. Oh, hey, I can see the chat. Here we go.
Where do people go? I mean, I know it's like a raid, but like if I'm just a dude on my computer, what should I punch up to check this out?
That's a good question, Brian.
EVM Day, Twitch stream. If you
Let me
don't,
check.
well,
1 second.
it's all good, and we'll put the link up there.
Whoa,
Uh,
there's audio coming through.
Shout out to my coworker Unicode Machine. What's up, man? Okay, so we have that.
Whoa, what is happening?
I don't know. Are you running into some space
Hold
interference,
on.
Daniel?
Yes, I was.
Oh, okay.
So
We hit an asteroid belt up in there.
that was amazing. I was stuck in a time loop, like that 1 or 5 episodes of TNG.
A twist in the fabric of space where time becomes a loop. Where time becomes a loop. Yes.
Yes. That old chestnut.
And he's got the fused wrist. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a good episode. Well, there's 2. Sorry. If we break into Star Trek talk, we'll be here.
This show will be 9 hours. Yeah, easily. Okay, so if you look for EBM Worldwide Presents on Facebook, you'll find the event for this thing coming up. There is links and stuff in there. There's links. So basically, with a raid train, you start at the first person who's up for the day, who's doing a stream.
Right.
And then you just stick with them because they're going to raid over to the next channel. So you just keep raiding with them.
Well,
so we've got, like Dickens YYC is doing an hour.
Hey.
Marcy, DJ Vegan and
Big
Black.
ups to Chris. Big ups to Chicago's own Vegan and Black.
Yep.
And this sounds
all
great.
kinds of people.
Want to jump in real quick? Eric is. I don't know if he found or just created, because he's that good of a guy, tinyurl.com/DX Belasco Fund.
That's the actual official link, I think, that they're using for it.
Cool. Well,
I say that I'm like reading it. Like, are the words I'm speaking true, or am I an idiot?
Friday the 25th, Saturday the 26th. Check that out. Everyone you know is DJing. Place to be, and we're helping out. We're helping out the guy.
I don't. I've asked. Excuse me. I've asked for help before, but I like. Excuse me. God damn. It's the space dust. It's space dust.
Your voice is so amazing that even your coughs resonate. It's like, God damn, man.
Yeah, I'm shaking the very fabric of space time when I'm coughing here.
It's E.B. Phlegm music.
Like I tell people with this GoFundMe and this fundraiser, this is the first time that I've actually straight up just said, listen, guys, I don't have anything to give you. I need help. Because before it's been hey, I'm doing some albums. You can help support those, or somewhere where it was here, I'm doing this thing and you can help support that. But this time around it's listen, I can give you co-producer credits on my future releases. That's all I can.
Well, I mean, that's how we know you're not bullshitting. I think.
Yeah, because it's not always here's the carrot in front of the donkey's face.
Right.
It's I don't have a carrot this time, guys. I'm sorry.
Well, to that end, the album end, because I'm interested in this. I had a little bit of a cardiac event when I got that email that said last Glass Apple Bonzai album.
I mean, it's a little bit more dramatic than it actually.
It was kind of a fake out, but it's interesting. I want to tell us about this.
Well, it's not really a fake out. It is so. To put a long story short, I don't want Glass Apple Bonzai to be what it has been up until this point anymore. I don't want it to be this 80s throwback kind of synthwave thing,
Mm-hmm.
because I feel like that has that ride is over, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And I want to become more like just use it as my main musical project to do essentially whatever I want, like within the realm of it being like still a synth pop act, but
Mm-hmm.
not retro flavored and not this and that. Like just do whatever I want and have the freedom to do it. So I've decided that the best way to do that is to just not do albums anymore
Fascinating. Okay.
and to just go wherever. Like if I have two songs that are like really good and they're done, and
Mm-hmm.
just release them. Don't wait until I have a whole album's worth of stuff, and don't like actually aim to record albums, because there really is no need for albums anymore. There's as
Mm-hmm.
much need for them as there isn't. So you can do them or you can't or you don't do them, and either way it's fine.
Fascinating. Like,
So
is that like
what
a
I've just
Spotify thing?
no, it's just remember that music never started as albums. Recorded
Right.
music that you could listen
That's
to
an
never started as full
interesting
albums.
point.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I feel like albums, you often get a bunch of songs that are kind of loosely glued together
Mm-hmm.
to form a coherent continuity on an album. But if you just took like one, two, maybe three of those songs that fit really well together, you
Mm-hmm.
could put out a little EP that sort of makes more sense in terms of cohesion between the songs. So, and also stylistically, if you like, I go through phases where I'll be
Mm-hmm.
listening to something, some kind of music or whatever, and I'll start writing some tunes that kind of have that flavor, and it'll maybe make it through two, three songs, whatever, and then I'll sort of change my interest,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
right? And sort of trying to glue a bunch of songs together that were essentially like written at different times with different inspirations
Often.
is just it's just weird. So why wouldn't I just finish those three songs that have that sort of localized flavor
Mm-hmm.
to them and then put them out? Um, so I've just decided to do that. There is, however, one final
Hmm.
Glass Apple Bonzai album being worked on, which is just this big, dumb, stupid fucking thing that I'm doing, where it's like a double album with like three extra discs of bullshit.
What?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Um,
Wow.
and because I have a bunch of songs and I have a bunch of things that didn't make it on previous albums, and so on and so forth. So I mean, if I'm going to do one more album and then have that sort of be it in
Mm-hmm.
terms of albums, then I want to make it
Is that something you're
ridiculous.
doing, or is that like an artifact thing,
No,
or
it's just me. Yeah.
wow?
um I'm gonna like I'm spending this year writing it and getting everything sort of figured out. And I mean, it's going to be a while before the album's out. Like I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying, like mid 2023, but that's
Oh wow.
probably
Okay.
subject to change too, because deadlines piss me off.
Mm-hmm.
And um, my biggest gripe with the last Glass Apple Bonsai album, which was the All Night Starlight Electronic Cafe, was that I didn't get to finish it the way that I wanted
Oh
to,
no
because
shit.
I had to finish it quickly to get it to the label so that we could have it out for when I went on that tour with Grendel in
Right.
2019. And the album bugs me because
Does it really?
there's a whole bunch of shit missing.
Okay.
And so actually, just to interject for a second with that, so I've also decided to revisit that album and do a sort of redux version of it where I'm finishing the songs. Like I have
You're gonna go put banthas in?
yes, I am. Yeah. Um, tauntauns at the end of the one song.
Yes.
Um, I have a list like of all the parts that wanted to originally add to it. Like I was going to outsource all of the backing vocals to other people, get some guitar on some of the stuff, like things that I just couldn't do due to time constraints, and also
Okay.
like I finished the album while I was living in a shoebox apartment in
Right.
Toronto with no money, so I couldn't do what I wanted to do. But now it's different. So I have the opportunity to finish the album the way that I wanted to. And so I'm going to do it. I'm going to finish the album the way I wanted it to be, and then release it. Do like a Bandcamp vinyl campaign to have it released on vinyl.
Wow.
And of course digitally as well. And that will be it, though. That will be the ways you either get it digital or you get it on vinyl, and you can burn your own CD if you want to. I don't care, but I'm just releasing it like that.
That's
and
what I did for the last one.
Yeah, and it'll be essentially re-recorded versions of some of the songs. There's going to be heavy alteration to a few of them.
Wow.
But a lot of them will just be things like getting other people to sing the backing vocals, which will add a whole huge dynamic to it, the way that I wanted it to be originally. So I'm just sort of tying up a lot of loose ends with stuff because I can.
That's amazing. I printed out a bunch of questions here, but like there's so much compressed into that. That's you put like a fucking Waves L2 stereo compressor on information into there.
Everything.
It's of stuff I want to get into. Ken says that of course Amaranth. Says,
Ken. Hi, Ken.
Is he a backing vocal? I can't tell if he's saying that he is a backing vocal or identifying himself as a backing vocalist.
He could be.
Okay.
I'll absolutely get Ken involved if he wants.
He says that album was brilliant, meaning All Night. Eric of Unicode says, how many special guests for the big album?
Oh, everybody.
Everybody? Everyone.
Literally, I have a list of everyone I want involved. Everyone from Andy Dean from The Rain Within to Emily Rohn from, is it pronounced Chiasm?
I always said Chiasm, but...
Chiasm? Oh, you know who I'm talking about.
Totally, yeah. Big fan. I never met her.
Also, Hello Moth, of course.
Hell yeah.
Just everyone that I can think of. Like some people, like my buddy Jamie Cronender from Strip Liquor, and also Eric Gottesman's band, Everything Goes Cold. Just all of these people. Like anything anybody wants to do.
Cool.
Want to do some backing vocals, want to do some lead vocals, want to do some guitar, want to do some programming, drumming, whatever. I don't even care. I just want like everybody that I know involved. Everyone I've always wanted to work with musically. It's just like get everybody in. Well, come on, let's go. Which is another reason why I don't want it to have a strict deadline, because people move at their own pace.
That is certainly true, and definitely a Herculean task to wrangle that many industrial cats.
Well, luckily I know what I want each person. Like once we define what each person is going to do individually, it's like, okay, you do this, and if you stray from this, I will murder you. No,
and big ups to Searing Star and Science Fiction in the chat room. All the rock stars are. He's the best, dude. He's the best.
Yeah.
He's like incredible. And not to say anything of Science Fiction, it's just remixing everybody to amazing effect.
He's actually. We were just talking. He's going to revisit the Brain Scan remix that he did.
Oh, yes.
Because I played the original on one of my streams one night where he was in there, and I do still have the stems of it, at least most of them.
So for all those collaborations you just mentioned, I will direct our audience to the old collaboration that this is the most sort of your and I relationship kind of thing ever.
Ever.
You had sent me guest vocals to do a song that you wanted to be about Brain Scan, the Eddie Furlong movie.
Yes.
And I fucking backslammed it into being about the H.P. Lovecraft story, Whispers in Darkness, with the Whisper in Darkness.
It was really like the nerdiest thing that I had ever had anything to do with. And I remember too, like we were supposed to do, remember Kinetic, what was it, like 5.5 or whatever?
Yeah, Kinetic Pi.
Yeah, it was the one that was supposed to be in Toronto that then turned into Aftermath Festival.
Yes.
I remember when we were originally setting that up, the Kinetic, I said, hey, we should perform that Brain Scan live, and you're like, I don't know if I can get that many words out of my mouth live.
It's a lot of words in that one.
There's a lot of words. Like
there's a basic programming joke in there. But, that's how we roll.
There's like a whole bridge that's just fucking 10 print, let me out, 20 go to 10. Like it's just
yeah, it's much like a D20. That's how we roll.
Yes. That was awesome. That was just ridiculous.
Well,
That
if you
was
look,
when I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my old band Defense Mechanism because
that is a defense mechanism track. I forgot
yeah.
about that. Well, that
Although
links.
it
Go on.
was just me. Like I wrote it. So
Yeah, I mean, I
eh,
didn't think you didn't. Uh,
no, no, but I mean, like in the context of my old band where
I
there were
see.
other members,
Right.
I was just doing stuff on my own, and that's why within the span of a year from 2013 to 2014, I stopped being Defense Mechanism and started being Glass Apple Bonsai and have been in that ever
Interesting.
since. So
Because I want this will I'll lead this back into just EPs versus albums because
yeah.
Glass Apple Bonzai started as this goth rock thing and
Oh God, like way back. Yeah.
right, and then it sort of morphed into synthwave wasn't even a word at the time.
I think it was like
I'm
synthwave
sure
started to.
it had come out of somebody's mouth, but
Yeah,
like it,
synthwave had like so synthwave had two like existences in the world. One was it actually was a term used in the earlier part of the 80s as a sort of portmanteau of synth pop and new wave, right? So they're just synthwave, and it was used to describe a lot of stuff. Like I have some old like newspaper clippings of it was mostly American reviewers referring to like really synth heavy new wave from Europe or the UK, but it wasn't used all the time, but it was around. And then fast forward like in 35 years, right, or whatever, and synthwave is like a branch off of this outrun stuff because I think like outrun, which was basically like music that could be in an 80s space cop movie or a video game. Like that was like some combination of like, part man, part machine,
right,
all
right.
cop, rides a bike that turns into a helicopter and flies underwater. Like it's
He's a renegade cop who does things his own way. Damn it, Belasco! I got the mayor
yeah,
breathing down my neck.
yeah. And then he shoots a guy in the dick and
You know,
but so there was
he's
that
like you
whole
do.
thing, but there was Glass Apple Bonsai started like the name I'd had kicking around for a long time, which is why it originally, at one point, was sort of like a name I was using for what then I ended up calling the Necromancers Union,
Well
which is my gothic rock band,
done.
because that's another name that I'd had crawling around for years
Right.
that I never really did anything with, and then I just looked for a home. But I was making in the late 2000s, so like 2008, 2009, I had started making what at the time was called electro clash,
Yeah.
right? So I was a big
Electro
fan
Clash.
of Fisher Spooner and Freeze Pop
Yep.
um and what else?
Ladytron.
Ladytron and all that kind of stuff, like IMX and all that sort of stuff. So I was making things like that under the name Daniel X because why wouldn't I?
Right.
But so that stuff is essentially what
Wow.
became
That was
Glass Apple
powerful.
Bonsai because
Okay.
I had all those songs and I was adapting them to be a little bit more genuinely retro because that's what I was like like authentically 80s, like taking out the modern drums and adding like Lindrum samples and all sorts of stuff because that was, you know, what I was into at the time.
Big up to hey Everett, Daniel Everett from on Twitch today says I remember Yellow being labeled synthwave. Interesting. Um,
Yes, that's true. Yeah, they
David,
they
sorry,
were. I have
Daniel.
some of their stuff where when you bring it up, like the tag on it is synthwave. It's like, well, yeah, I could understand that.
But not to be pigeonholed yourself,
No,
you were not just stick to a laser background. You did
no,
the only Satan infused synthwave album at the
yeah,
time. That was
Satan
awesome.
wave. Apparently, it's referred to.
But the idea is that Glass Apple Bonsai, even something by even almost by name, it's not one thing. It's three. It's disparate elements. You're moving it forward, and
Yeah,
so now you have this insanely nimble 3/4 songs at a time or whatever you're going to put into your EP approach. I I love it, and it's just when I think about doing that, it's all like awesome to me, and then I go, it just doesn't feel real. Like it's not,
Yeah.
it doesn't have that reality of an album. There's never, it's never just boom album. It just sort of feels like light strike versus a heavy strike. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, my goal would be to make my EPs the heavy strike.
Nice, nice.
Like spend the necessary time on really building 2 to 3 songs, like getting them.
Right.
So I feel like the eternal chase to get as much stuff out on Bandcamp as you possibly can. And also the ease, like let's be real here. It's pretty fucking easy to record full albums these days.
Right.
You don't have to go into a studio to do it. You don't even have to put on clothes. So
yeah, why
yeah.
would you?
Yeah. So it's really easy to get caught up in the idea of putting together a full album and releasing it, but are you really paying as much attention to each song as you should?
Interesting. So like you start seeing the finish line at about track 7.5, and then we just sort of okay, this will be a sample track, and then we got an intro song.
Yeah,
and,
okay. Well, that's basically what happened with All Night Starlight with me. Aside from the time constraints, there was also things where like time constraints with me will force me to make decisions hastily. And so take the song Machines, for instance. That's supposed to have vocals. That song was supposed to have my problem was that I was trying to write lyrics for it that didn't sound goofy as fuck. Because everything I was coming up with was like literally about robots dancing, which is fun, but I didn't want it to be like kind of out of context.
I
with
see.
The rest of the
If
album,
that's what you're
right?
going for, then yeah.
So I ended up putting samples from some old like Cold War civil defense PSAs and a little bit of vocals in it, just to say machines are dancing. But I had a whole concept behind it, but I just didn't have the time to sit and figure out vocally what I wanted to do with it and write proper lyrics. Another song that suffered a similar fate is I can't even remember the name of it right now. The Fire of Red Giant Stars, which is based off of, it's basically a Carl Sagan love song, really. But the chorus is just bullshit nonsense. It's just something that I had the rough idea of what I wanted it to sound like, and I just had to end up using sort of like the scratch takes because I didn't have enough time to finish the song. So every time I hear it, it's like,
my mind.
Cool enough, but at the same time, it can be better because I actually do now know what. Well, at the time, I know what I wanted to add to it, and what I didn't. Like Stormy Weather's the same thing. There's like elements of that are just that never made it to the final track because of time constraints, and just like space. I didn't have a space to record. There's supposed to be way more acoustic guitar in that song, and it's and there was supposed to be a sax solo.
Wow. Well, we certainly look forward to the revamped edition of that monster. Yeah. Speaking of revitalizing and bringing things back from the dead, we got time is just flying by, but we gotta hit Necromancer's Union. November 2001 saw the release of Necromancer's Union. We're just gonna do a little bit of a clip-a-rooski.
Yeah, man, you do your thing.
Of that, which I have here. Check this out.
The multitudes of undead eyes ripping through our souls, and we run into the night. As the shadows come to life.
Does a lot of like heavy metal covers. Like the label that put the album out, Petrichor, they're they're a branch of Hammerheart Records out of the Netherlands, and they're heavy metal, like big time.
Mm-hmm.
So all of their connections are metal guys. So I contacted, because Luis, he's done some artwork for them before, and I said, I really want it to look like kind of a cross between like an old death rock record, but also like sort of like like you would open it and there'd be like a fake like book on the inside of like how to raise the dead, like Sacrifix from that movie The Gate.
Wow.
Where, like, opens it up and yeah, like just all that kind of lore from that time, like horror movies and stuff like that. Now the funny thing about it is that in a few reviews people have been like, well, it looks like it would be a heavy metal album. But it's actually like a goth rock album. So that's kind of weird. I'm like, it's not weird. It's awesome.
It is awesome.
How awesome the cover art is. Are you kidding me?
Well, and as was the sample we just heard, tell us about this album. I understand New England's own Christian Carver appears there. And Space Dog, what's up?
Yeah, it's Gumby.
Buddy? Hey,
Space
Gumby.
Dog. Look, Gumbus. Look, there's the camera.
Juno, come here. Oh, our Space Dog's drinking.
Okay. So Gumby's just gonna stay here with me and occasionally disappear. Apparently,
well, you're coming from a completely different dimension, so the window, on the veil closes.
And to be very honest, if any animal on the face of Earth is going to figure out interdimensional time travel, it's going to be dogs.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
It turns out being like reliable and good demand is the key to opening that dimensional portal.
It's so dogs don't die; they just traverse to another dimension and go and have a fruitful life somewhere else.
But they're occasionally pulled back by necromancers. Maybe that's kind of gross. Yeah. But I wanted to get back to the album.
Unionized necromancers. That is a name that has been floating around in my head since the late 90s.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
I came up with it for some reason, just because I was like, goth and fucking edgelord, and I was like, the Necromancers Union, it sounds great. And then as I got older, I realized, well, yeah, you know what, necromancers need job security,
right?
And
they can need to have some sort of very easily.
Yeah, they need some sort of standardized. Like Necromancers Union Local 666.
You gotta do it.
Yeah.
So what can we expect from or it's not, I should not say expect, because it is available now on Bandcamp under Necromancers Union. Check it out. What can listeners expect to hear from this album?
Well, it's a shameless display of all of the goth rock bands that I grew up listening to.
It's awesome.
There's everything from The Cult to Sisters of Mercy, The Cure, Bauhaus, even some more modern stuff. The one song Shadows was really heavily influenced by this band called White Lies, who are just excellent.
Okay.
An excellent band from the UK. And, of course, some genuine death rock stuff like, 45 Grave and Alter de Fay and just all kinds of cool shit. So it's sort of a mix and match of stuff. It sounds cohesive, the album does, but you can definitely pick out certain influences per song, but that doesn't scare me. That's what I want. I want people to be like, oh yeah, this is, this sounds like a Sisters of Mercy-ish tune or whatever. So
but you're putting it through the Belasco filter anyway. It's going to sound like
exactly. Yeah, it comes out all
amazingness,
all robust and.
Well,
being attacked by Gumby here.
He
is pissed right off.
Oh, sorry. I just need him for a few more minutes, buddy.
Get down, bud.
So we will check out Necromancers Union. Some amazing, a goth rock flight, a palette of goth rock for you with Daniel's own amazing voice. Speaking of voices, I gotta get into it because of our many endeavors together through the years. One of them, we are crewmates, if you will, on a show called Biomutoids.
Done by our buddy Corey Gorski.
Corey Gorski, Tiger Squawk Records, his own, Volt 9000 and Crudmouth. I'm going to cut to a clip here where you play the hero
Slimacin.
Slimacin. Let's check it out. Why does? Oh, we must be running out of space batteries. Let's check it out.
Space.
Okay, Shrikar. We'll go over this one more time. After you land on top of the castle, you run down the stairs, unlock the drawbridge, then Krog and myself will storm in and save Lucy. Got it?
Wait, why do I always gotta be the one in the catapult?
Well, that's because, I'm far too important to be launched 9,000 feet in the air. Too risky. As self-appointed leader of the Biomutoids, I need to stay back and, lead the troops.
Hey, sorry about that delay. We were geeking out on the quality of Corey's stop motion stuff.
No, Matt Finale actually got
And
involved in that.
Finale
too.
was in the second episode.
Yeah.
So it
As
is.
Mr. Potato Man.
It's so good. Oh, laugh out loud funny.
And goofy in the way that, like, you don't have to know us to get it, but it helps if you know us to get it. You know,
Do you, well, I'm curious. Is Slimacin just sort of you, or was there like characterization choices?
Well,
in that
I've done
voice?
the Slimacin voice before.
Okay.
Like I've done it. You know, I do it as it's sort of my
was awesome.
Zap Brannigan. You know, like it's me.
Okay.
But it's when I'm like, now, sit down and calm down. A little bit more of a robustness to
Love
it, but
okay.
it was pretty easy to get into that because I've watched throughout my lifetime probably 700 trillion hours of Saturday morning cartoons.
Right.
So, you know, and it's fun seeing, like, Corey has the craziest fucking toy collection.
It's so dope.
Like him and Neil Reed from Peter Turns Pirate are
Yeah.
the two guys I know that have just the most insane old school toy collections.
Yeah,
And,
those are both really good. I also want to give a shout out to God Module's Aquaman collection. It's really wonderful.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
With something specific that like Aquaman, or like my buddy Josh used to be in this band called the Legendary Klopex, and now he's part of a circus sideshow duo. And he has a Simpsons collection, like a Simpsons figurine collection that is like nuts. It is
Okay.
extensive, and if you touch it, you get slapped. Like it's like, you know, it's very much his thing.
So,
Yeah.
well, a lot of our audience are, I think, more sort of fans of our music, rather than sort of come across it organically right now. But it is nice to see that sort of throwback, and it's this communal sort of remembering of wonderful cartoons with your friends' voices. So,
Yes. Yeah, it's talk about things that doesn't hide its influences.
Right.
Like that's it. Corey is basically making an extended universe of that Bump in the Night, right? Like it's very much that like
80s gross out
claymation.
toys.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like kind of like claymation / like random toys, like the toy shelf in Pee Wee's Playhouse, where it was just like random weird disjointed shit, and just love it.
Oh,
Fucking
man.
love every second of it. When he sent me the first draft, it was like, oh my god, yes,
So good.
so good.
So there's 2 episodes of Biomutoids out now. Check
Yeah.
it out on YouTube. It's the only thing called Biomutoids. So
Yes, it's
that
the
should
only
be fun.
thing.
um,
And if you
I
know anyone that has a ton of money and they want to invest in a sort of children's show, tell them about it. We'll get Corey like a lot of money, and he can just do that full time.
Wes Turner wants to know, which time period did you start doing Razorback Hollow?
I believe it was just after the first Defense Mechanism album came out. Well, actually, just around 2005, 2006, because one of the Defense Mechanism songs, Denial, off of the first album, was actually originally a Razorback Hollow song. So
Okay, so you still some crossover happening at that time.
yeah, like I've always, you know, like we were playing live shows as Defense Mechanism,
Uh-huh.
and I was like, yeah, I need to make more stuff. So, because I was, you know, young and invigorated. And my friend Ward Black, who used to have a project called H427, I would go up to his place in Toronto with these like songs that I had that weren't quite Defense Mechanism, but they were, still cool, but they were more old school, even old school at that time, because that was always sort of my jive. So I recorded vocals for these 4 songs at Ward's place, and then came back and sort of was like, here's this side project I've got called Razorback Hollow, which is the bayou cemetery where you dig up Pumpkinhead in the movie Pumpkinhead. So it's actually pronounced Razorback Holler because the woman who plays Haggis the witch, which is funny on in itself, actually pronounces it that way because, people don't say words properly, I guess. But anyway,
well, I know.
Razorback Hollow. So
I live in Boston.
and it was, yeah, oh yeah, yeah, and so it was about 2005, 2006 originally, but then like I didn't do anything with the songs. I didn't really release them or anything. They just sort of sat there. And we actually started playing one of the tunes called No Exit, which was on the sort of first Razorback demo. We started playing that live in Defense Mechanism because we were just like, it's a cool song. So we should use it and play it, right? And
that didn't happen, or what?
yeah, like we were gonna turn it into our own thing,
Right.
and it just didn't happen. I mean, Defense Mechanism's history is kind of weird. It's just sort of like it had been falling apart for longer than any of us really knew. It had been sort of falling apart since before the since before our last album, which was in 2010. So it was just sort of like weird. Like if you listen to the final Defense Mechanism album, Invasion of the Robot Brains from Planet Zero.
That's just before the Faderhead tour?
Well, no, like we released that in 2010. We didn't go on the Faderhead tour until 2013.
Okay.
But we didn't really do a ton when we released that album, it was on Dance Macabre Records, which is Bruno Kram from Dosik, and we were like, we had this offer to go. I think this is what sort of ruined it for everything was Bruno came to us with an offer to go on tour as the direct support for Combi Christ for a bunch of European dates.
Wow.
Right after Combi Christ was direct support for Rammstein.
Mm-hmm.
So they were like Hansel. They were so hot.
Right.
Like they were hot.
So hot right now.
So we're trying to figure out a way to make it work because that would have been huge for us.
That was, wow.
Right. And it didn't work out at all.
Right.
So that because it didn't work out and for the reasons why it didn't work out, which I won't really go into, that really put me off of the band. I was kind of like, like shit, we blew it. Like, not that it was really anything that we had a ton of control over. Like theoretically we could have done it, but there were some things that were keeping us from being able to do it, like, I guess, properly or whatever. And so we were even trying to figure out, like, I remember we had like our friend Troy Hilton on the phone. Sure. Like we were all trying to brainstorm, figure out how to make it work. Like it was a big effort.
That sounds like such a strain.
And we just couldn't do it.
Wow.
So man. At that point it was like, well, we blew that because we did. Right? Like a label comes to you, you're a new act that they've signed.
How old are you at this time? 20, something like that?
I'm 30. I'm 30 years old.
So you got like a lot of like, we got to make this. This is us, right? Like prime, go time energy.
Yeah, it was really like I'd won awards for the engineering of the album. Like everything was on high.
Mm-hmm.
And And then that was like a big punch in the gut that blew the wind out of me.
Mm.
So it was basically at that point where I was like, you know what? I don't even want to be in a band anymore.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
So.
And then just the Glass Apple and everything sort of came out of
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I'd already had stuff kicking around for a while, and I was already sort of like, finishing some tunes, but I never really had any set I never really had any set date for releasing the Glass Apple Bonzai stuff. It was just sort of like, I'll get around to it whenever. And and it was actually Alex Kennedy from I Die You Die who
Friend
sort
of the
of
show
kicked me in the ass about that one, because at the time, what was the Kinetic Toronto festival, I Die You Die was curating bands for a sort of side stage. Mm-hmm. And he basically said to me, because I sent him the unfinished stuff, he's like, if you had a live performance booked for this, would that expedite the completion of
Glass Apple?
for the Glass Apple Bonzai album. Like, would you complete the album if you had a live show? I'm like, yes. like basically, yeah, I would. It would give me a reason to finish the album. So he booked us for that, and then I got to it, like finishing what ended up being the first Glass Apple Bonzai album. And I'd had a single out. Like I put out the Freeze / I Can't Stop Running in like November 2013, but 2013 was also a pretty heavy year for me because that was the year that my dad passed away.
Wow.
So I was totally in limbo at that point. I was, we'd gone out, we'd played Terminus in the summer with Defense Mechanism. And then we did this little tour.
Shout out to Terminus.
Yep. We did this little tour with Faderhead at the end of summer 2013.
Shout out to Faderhead.
And it did not turn out the way that we wanted it to. So at that rate, I was just like, you know what? Fuck all this. I'm going to do whatever I want.
All right.
So I did.
Well, I'm happy you did, because we got a lot of wonderful music.
Yeah, I'm actually looking at the Glass Apple Bonzai page on Bandcamp. And there's a lot of releases. This is what to me is a testament to how much I enjoy this project in comparison to what I was doing in Defense Mechanism, is that Defense Mechanism only had 2 albums in a span of about 7-8 years in total that it was a band. In the roughly the same amount of time. So let's say like late 2013. So we're about 9 years deep, say, give or take at this point. Well, just past 8 years. I've got a bonkers amount of things that I've released. Like
you have,
like 4 full albums, and then even like a secondary companion album to not only the first
really
record, but to In the Dark has a whole like companion thing to it. Like the Fire in the Sky single, What They Say featuring Hello Moth, Lucid Dream with Hello Moth.
To say nothing of the remix work and all that.
Yeah, and I mean, just tons of stuff.
I had this thought the other day, which was, they talked about it in the movie Office Space, where the guidance counselor asks you if you had $1 million, didn't have to worry about money, what would you do? And it's supposed to, show your true passion or whatever.
Yeah.
I had the idea that, like, if you really want to see what somebody's into, look at their side project. Like it's, I have this thing that pays the air quotes bills, and then there's this, electronic ska merengue thing that I kind of do, or whatever.
Ska merengue, or like in a weird twist of fate, like with Frontline Assembly, their main side project Delirium ended up becoming their cash cow.
Right. I mean,
sometimes that happens.
Sometimes
where your side project becomes like the thing that actually allows you to do everything else forever.
Well, let's do this, because we are flying around in space, and the hour is just whizzing by at FTL.
It's dissolved.
So I'm just going to shunt it to the end, because I'm interested. We've sort of talked a little bit about then versus now organically, but to state it, how would you describe your own evolution? Like, what's your take on you?
Well, it's different from an outside perspective as it is from like me because I change a lot to myself because I'm always like listening to something that or discovering something new or learning some new way of doing things or getting some new piece of gear, which to me in my head changes my sound, I think, a little bit more drastically than it does to those that are listening. Right.
Right.
Because, when you're married to your own music, you can hear all of the differences in it.
Right.
Like, oh, that synth bass is like from the Behringer K2 mono synth. But most people don't give a fuck at all that it's from some cool piece of gear. But from an outside perspective, like if I look at, let's just say the 4 albums, the Glass Apple Bonzai albums, I will see somebody that has progressively become more comfortable with their vocal range, their vocal abilities specifically, because in the first album, the vocals are pretty good, but they're not very layered or dense or really super expressive in any way. Whereas even even just like within the dark, I mean, even Night Maze too, there's a huge difference with Night Maze with the way that I was singing. And in the dark, there was more like just small bits of progression with the vocal arrangements that I was coming up with and stuff like that. But one of the good things about All Night Starlight Electronic Cafe is just how like I'm trying, it's obvious to me and to some other people that like I'm going the electric light orchestra route of vocals where it's like, okay, let's layer like 50 vocal takes for harmonies in this one, And if you listen to my more recent single tracks like Disconnected from the Blush and The End of the World and stuff like that, like it's very obvious that I'm just head first in let's fucking record 1,000 vocal takes and mix these big wall Daniels. Of sound things. Yeah.
Nice.
So it's the evolution is more obvious to me because I see every facet of it. But to the listener, I think it's been a pretty steady climb in terms of like quality of song writing and quality of recording and just like different things that haven't strayed too far, but have enough so that it's like cool and fresh. So
I would definitely agree. I think your assessment of you is oddly in line with mine. We are going to pull this flying couch back on into the station for now. But you at home are not without a little bit of homework. I do got to send you to tinyurl.com/DX Belasco Fund or GoFundMe or the Twitch thing that's on Friday into Saturday.
Also just my Twitch channel in general, twitch.tv/Daniel X Belasco. I do Monday night at the movies streams where we do a double bill of like B movies and so on and so forth. I've got my goth music night, midnight hour at the Belasco House on Wednesday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern. And then Friday and Sunday, usually Sundays during the day, I have Radio Belasco from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m.
Nice, man. Well, D Everett _US says vocal confidence has definitely been noticeable.
Well, I'm glad. Thank you.
Awesome. I think that's going to be your out, man. Once we cut to credits, like it messes up the way you and I will be able to hear Heather. I haven't fixed that yet. I keep forgetting. Until then, this is Brian for Space Couch for Daniel X Belasco for Necromancer's Union, Glass Apple Bonzai, DX Belasco, GoFundMe, saying, call the spaceships to Davenport, prepare for Divanarchy, and interface with a couch in space. Space couch! Yeah! That was a dope episode.
That was awesome.
Yeah, I think it works for a second and then it'll cut us. But
I can kind of hear you.
Yeah, it's fucked up. But yeah, check out all these wonderful names. Wouldn't you like to get your name in the credits of Space Couch? Well, if you want to do that, you can just head on over to patreon.com/gothsicles. Oh, thanks to Tiger Squawk Digital, our parent company.